Visa payment system glitches all over the world. Terminals reject payment cards. Problems with cash withdrawals and payments began in Europe last Friday. In Russia, such problems have not been seen. Also, everything is fine in Norway, newspaper.ru reports. Since 2015, all domestic transactions of cards of International Payment System and Payment System MIR are processed through the national system of payment cards. In Russia, all card payments works fine. No problems were noted, the press service of the national system reported. However, on Friday in UK and continental Europe began receiving a lot of complaints when trying to pay with contactless payment. According to some reports, problems with bank cards arose with MasterCard holders. On Saturday, Interfax handed Visa a statement saying the problems were caused by a hardware failure. Representatives of the payment system said that the problem is fixed and the cards are serviced in the mode, as they said, close to normal. Pledge for the loan in Japan began to take in Bitcoin. Abe Corporation announced the introduction of a new method of collateral last Friday. The company will issue loans in Japanese yen. This is the first service in the country, it's reported by bitcoin.com. The client benefit of the new loan method lies in the high income tax rate. The fact is that in the case of the sale of virtual currency, the proceeds are subject to progressive tax. Its level can reach 55%. The EBIC decided the issue of high tax rate without the need to sell cryptocurrency. The company encourages customers to use cryptocurrencies to purchase new digital assets, pay taxes, and for other purposes as well. New loans can be received by individuals and legal entities. Thresholds of amounts starting from $18,000 to $9 million. Interest rate is starting from 2.98% to 15% per annum. Maturity from 1 month to 5 years. Prohibiting of others and promoting its own. Google suspected of unfair competition. We're talking about its own digital currency. By prohibiting advertising of Bitcoin and other digital assets on its platforms, Google is promoting its own crypto project. This is reported by RIA Novosti with reference to the portal The Independent. In March of this year, following Twitter and Facebook, Google has banned any advertising of cryptocurrencies and ICO on its platforms. The decision involved from the 1st of June. The reasons voiced by the company's managers were misinformation of scammers who flooded the crypto space, seizing other people's funds. But even before the new rules, Google revealed plans for the possible creation of its own cryptocurrency. Also, in May, the corporation tried to seize the co-founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. Surprisingly, the company prohibits the promotion of digital assets, but at the same time leaves advertising of gambling. I suspect that Google has imposed a ban because of plans to create its own cryptocurrency in the near future, said the head of investment company Blackmore Group, Philip Nunn. A Google spokesperson declined to comment on the charges. New ergonomic. Shortened addresses develop bitcoin-usability. The decision came from the company IOV, Internet of Value. The startup has created a blockchain application for binding names. The user enters the public key once, registers it, and assigns a username, it's reported by Bitcoinist. 9 years after the launch date, the transaction in the Bitcoin network still looks like this. The user copies a long string of characters, checks the address, and makes a transfer. For the veterans of the community, such reception does not cause difficulties, because there was no more ergonomic alternative, but it's more difficult for beginners to master Bitcoin transactions. This is one of the main problems of the mass introduction of cryptocurrencies, a complex and inconvenient principle of sending tokens. Blockchain platform cannot solve the problem with users, particularly in relation to the address of the wallets, says founder of CTO of IOV, Isabella Dell. The company's application binds usernames to the address of their wallets. New addresses become shorter and easier to manage, especially for those who are superficially familiar with cryptocurrencies and have no experience of daily transactions. Vitalik Buterin. The decision of the second level and million transactions of Ethereum per second. These solutions are called sharding and plasma. The creator of the second cryptocurrency told about them at the session of Omis Go AMA. According to him, the Ethereum network will eventually be able to process 1 million transactions per second, and this value can potentially be increased to 100 million. This is reported by Bitcoinist. Buterin gives a brief statistics. Bitcoin makes about 3 transactions per second, and 4 is already its maximum. Ethereum has the number of transactions in the normal state at level 4. The maximum value is about 6. For a second, Uber handles 12 taxi travels. PayPal a few hundred transactions, Visa handles few thousand. And stock exchanges are able to process tens of thousands of transactions every second. Buterin continued, sharding optimizes the network, eliminating the need to process every single piece of the transaction. Plasma works like the Lightning Network for Bitcoin and allows the Ethereum network to process micropayments, creating child blockchain networks. This will speed up processing and improve protocol security. Solutions complement each other and should work together. Joint work will increase the network scalability by 10,000 times. Thanks to this, the Ethereum blockchain will be able to process millions of transactions every second, he said at the OmisGo AMA session. What threatens the Ukrainian crypto business with the European GDPR? Last Thursday we talked about the introduction of the GDPR, a general data protection regulation, a new set of laws on the protection of personal data of EU citizens. The new rules came into force on May 25th and also affect global companies serving consumers in the EU. On June 13th, partner and founder of Brightman law firm Kristina Nemchinova will help us to understand what European GDPR threatens the Ukraine crypto business. Meeting will be held at our friends and partners in co-working Blockchain Hub Kyiv. Kristina Nemchinova will tell you how Facebook violated EU law and how the problem was solved in the US Senate, whether the GDPR will slow down the development of the blockchain, what are the implications of the GDPR to crypto-biz Ukrainians need to know, what is common and what are the differences in the protection of personal data in the EU and US, and other EU laws that cannot be violated. At the end of the lecture, guests will be able to ask questions to the speaker.